Welcome back to the Voodoo Podcast. Hope you all had a great Trans World. We did a live episode from Trans World that it was our first ever live. Some hiccups, I will say. It sounds like some people couldn't hear some of what was being said. And then when I re-uploaded it onto the audio side of things, whether that was Apple Podcasts or Spotify, I guess there were some audio issues there too, but we'll recap some of what was said there in this episode just to kind of give you all of the up-to-date information. But first and foremost, I have a very special guest with me today. We're rolling with our Disturbia cast and crew here on the Voodoo Podcast. Another interview, yes, another interview from Downers Grove over here. We have a man who is typically roaming the halls of Disturbia as his named character, Clint. I want to welcome an avid listener of the podcast as well. He told me it gets him through the workday. Please welcome Vance Thoma.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
How are you, my man? I know we just wrapped up the Easter haunt, but then also, everything has kind of lined up this year to do like once a month, basically. We had the Valentine's Day haunt in September. We had the St. Patrick's Day haunt in March, and that ran into Trans World, and now here we are, Easter and into the summer as well.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. I think this is gonna be like the lineup for everything has been really great. I think this is probably gonna be the biggest gap between Easter and the summer event. Or not even because we have the MHC event too.
Right. Yeah. And that was part of the announcement that got made on the Voodoo podcast in March. If you haven't heard from us or from our friends Chris Sarobsky over at Trans World Live, and all the great shows that they do, Midwest Haunters Convention is coming. It is June 4th through the 7th, whatever that weekend is. I know, I think the 5th is that Saturday. I got to double check my calendar, but
Somewhere
the
around there.
Thursday pre-convention haunt tour is back. We didn't have one last year. This year, it's going to be a little different. It's not going to be starting in the morning and going all over the globe, basically. It's going to stay within the Chicagoland area. We're going to have two lights on tours, one of Disturbia Haunted House and two of Hell's Gate Haunted House. So that's a little interesting because we just got Hell's Gate as the Friday night tour just a few years ago with you could go back through and see everything with the lights turned on once everybody got through. So that's going to be a fun one. But that's not all in that Thursday tour. Then it's Five Points Haunted House, and the lights will be off for that one. It'll be the full show from the McCabe family. So maybe we'll get a chance to talk to them beforehand. I don't know. But then that leads into the Friday night haunt, which is also unique this year. We've got the Friday night being two different haunts. First and foremost, in Aurora, Basement of the Dead. That one will be its full show. And then right up the block in Montgomery, it is Massacre Haunted House, which will also be the full show. So a little bit unique. Usually we're used to just one haunt on the Friday night and a big bus tour on the Thursday. But I guess last year you could consider the Friday night haunt tour had abandoned multiple haunts. It's just they were all in one location. It was at abandoned. So that's going to be fun. Are you participating in any of what is going on between Basement of the Dead and Disturbia?
I absolutely will be. I will be at the Basement of the Dead walkthrough for the MHC tour, and then I'll be at MHC all weekend after that.
Sweet, man. That is the best time for us haunters to kind of get to network and to mingle and get to know each other a little bit better. And when you and I are acting at Disturbia, we're always rushing, right? We're always getting into costume. Maybe towards the end of the night, we get to say a couple few words to each other. But I want to jump right into the Frankenfuel segment here for what energizes you, what keeps you going throughout the night when you are at the haunt. And trust me, I need this Frankenfuel more than anything right now. It's been a long day, and yeah, we got to keep things rolling, right?
Oh man, what energizes me? Definitely Frankenfuel, 100%. If I don't have Frankenfuel on hand, I'm definitely stocked up on Red Bull.
Okay, heck yeah. And
And
then
then
of
water, of
course the
course.
pizza afterwards or whatever
Oh,
we get.
always.
But any kind of snacks? Are you digging into the fruit snack box in the back?
Big Cheez-It guy. Love Cheez-Its. I always got a bag of Cheez-Its in my backpack in my locker.
Cheez-Its are good. Cheez-Its are a favorite of mine as well. You got a favorite flavor of Cheez-Its,
Can't go
or is it
wrong
just
with
the
the
regular?
original.
Original. I love it. They had what is it? Like the I'm thinking of Goldfish is the flavor blasted, but even the Cheez-It
Mhm.
ones had like the dust ones or like the four
Cheez-Its
cheese.
had some weird ones, man. I saw them cut. They came out with a ranch one, and that one's a little weird.
I guess that works, right? Because like I mean, I'd dip like a fried mozzarella stick in ranch, maybe, or
It's
like a
true.
cheese stick, I guess. I'd
I don't
maybe go
know.
marinara, and you gotta have the cheese pull, right? But
Right.
that is great. Well, I want to jump from one segment to the next because another thing that I mentioned when we're running around and barely getting a chance to say two words to each other, getting to know each other all right, but we don't get to know each other's personalities. So I want to jump right into the Voodoo Personalities segment and hear a little bit more about Vance. But before we dive into your haunt segment, I know the listeners are going to be waiting to hear about your character, about your career and stuff like that. Tell me a little bit about yourself outside of the haunt world. Where would we catch you hanging out when you're not working or having to prep for haunt stuff?
Ooh. All right. So I'm definitely working a lot, but when I'm not at work, you'll probably catch me at some kind of antique store. I love antique stores to death. I'm always running through them, trying to find new ones, finding weird stuff that I could collect or throw onto a costume, perhaps. That's a big one for me.
Okay. What are you exactly collecting at antique stores? Just kind of like a little bit of everything, or do
A little
you
bit of
go in
everything.
setting for something?
Definitely a little bit of everything. Right now, I've got a big neck for odd, like pieces of military clothing that's going to go towards a costume that I'm putting together, which I'm super excited to release at MHC.
It all ties back to the haunt world, doesn't
Always,
it? We've
always,
always
always,
got the
always.
haunt brain on. So antiquing. I had a couple friends that used to do the Voodoo on Vassar with us that were into thrifting. That's more so on the clothes side of things, but you can snatch a couple of knickknacks here and there too. Is there any crossover? Do you go thrifting as well and try to get like some kind of vintage clothing to your arsenal?
Absolutely, always. Vintage clothing. I love vintage clothing. It's made great, especially like old school like leather jackets. I've got a good couple of those that I love to death that I've picked up for real cheap.
Nice. All right. So you told me that you're listening to the podcast at work. Let's dive into that work life. What are you doing outside of Disturbia and haunting to pay the bills and get you through the day? Career goals as well. Where do you want to be?
Right now, at the moment, I'm at a body shop working on like crashed cars. So that's what I'm doing there. And then I'm also studying to join a pipe fitters union.
All right. So the tough jobs, the labor union, the getting your hands dirty, looking like your haunt character Clint. I'll get into that in just a second. But yeah, I that's awesome. That I'm happy that Voodoo Podcast helps you pass the time. Are there any other things that you're listening to, whether that's music, other podcasts? What's your go-tos?
Um, a couple other podcasts that I'll throw in there, a lot of true crime ones. Big true crime guy, so I'm always listening to stuff about like the old school serial killers or like some of like the cold files that were never solved. I love that stuff.
There was one not too long ago in Elgin. That was a cold case that got dug back up. It was a podcast that was called, I'll give them a free plug here. Somebody Knows Something. And I believe they just released another episode recently. I mean, I believe they solved the case, but they started the podcast to solve the case, basically. Basically, with the title being Somebody Knows Something, they wanted to get it out into the ether and see if anybody could come up with some facts that the police department didn't have on a cold case. I didn't. This is admittedly, I didn't listen to every single episode, so I don't know what the resolution was. And this was about a year or two ago. So for them to have just put out another episode so far removed from the regular stream, I don't know if there's some newfound information or what. I'm gonna have to jump back on it. But another friend of mine, and one that we had on the podcast, I don't know if you got a chance to listen to that episode. Austin Kazmarek a couple years ago came on, and he's a buddy of mine from Illinois Media School. He was doing a true crime podcast. He's kind of fallen off now. Austin, we'd love for you to throw some more episodes out there once you get some time. But the man is busy delivering my mail. He is my mailman actually now, which is such a weird small world. He got a job with Schaumburg Mail Department, not to uh, give any kind of work secrets away, but he did go to Illinois Media School with me, so he knows his way around podcasting and such. He's also prepping for a wedding, so congratulations to Austin and his beautiful fiance. So we'll maybe get some podcasts after the honeymoon, maybe, and he settles down. So, but that's awesome. Music taste though, when you are listening to music, what's your maybe top three, top five? What are your go-tos?
Ooh, big metal enjoyer. I think top three right now would probably be Rob Zombie, Mushroom Head. I love Mushroom Head. And then what else? Some Seven Dust lately.
Okay. I just saw them last summer in concert. Did not know who they were, but it was a pleasant surprise. They were up at it was at Alpine Festival, or well, it was Summer of '99 extended tour. So
Mhm.
you had it was supposed to be Three Doors Down, and then their lead singer, unfortunately, that was when he was diagnosed with cancer, just recently passed away. So they replaced them with A Day to Remember, which I wasn't complaining. That was great.
Right.
But then, of course, Creed, Nickelback, Mammoth. Who am I missing? There were a couple other good ones in there. But yeah, I hadn't heard of Seven Dust, and yeah, it was a pleasant surprise. Love Rob Zombie. I was at one of those at Riot Fest, right on the rail, which is
Awesome.
bittersweet because you get all the crowd surfers coming over your head, but also you're right there, so that's pretty cool. I'm not familiar with Mushroom Head.
Mushroom Head is they've definitely fallen off. They're a band from Ohio, from Cleveland, Ohio. And they make some pretty decent music. They were bigger in like early 2000s. They came out right with the new metal scene. They're a good band, really cool theatrical band.
Okay, I'm gonna have to give them a listen and check them out. But we'll jump out of the Voodoo Personalities segment. We'll get the two segments out of the way right away. Not that they're a drag, but we get to learn a little bit more about you. Now we want to know a little bit more about Haunter's side of Vance. So first, when did haunting, Halloween, all that kind of stuff start for you? Was it a young age? Were you going to haunted houses early? Where did the love for the holiday kind of evolve into haunting as it is now?
Oh, that is, I always hear this question when I'm listening, man. And I've tried to think about it. Halloween in general, always since I was a little kid, was my favorite holiday. I blame it all on my dad because we live in the house in the neighborhood where it's like this was the one house you were scared to go up the driveway kind of thing. My dad was always out there scaring kids. Never haunted, but he was always out on the driveway on Halloween, dressed up, scaring kids and all that. So seeing that growing up, and I don't know, I live in a house where we'll always be hiding around corners waiting to pop out and scare somebody. So it's kind of just always been there. And then I got older, I started going to haunted houses with my parents, and it was, the rest was history.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I would get my start too. A lot of people, I love asking this question, even though it's such a cookie cutter question. And I know a lot of the listeners, maybe at a certain point, they're like rolling their eyes, like, "Oh, I know what he's going to ask at this point." But it gives you that origin story, that villain arc, that backstory, basically. And there's a lot of similar stories, but they all have their own unique taste to them. The one thing I will say is, being in a household where you jump around the corner, it's kind of, I can't believe I've never told this before, but every time I buy a new prop, or well, I guess it's past tense now since we're not really doing voodoo anymore, but every time I would buy a new prop, I'd set it up in my mom's room. So I'd either close her door, put it in the bed, stand it up straight up in the room so that when she opens the door, it's right there. On a couple occasions, if if I could fit it through her, she has an attached bathroom. I would throw I'd throw it in there. So then, you could leave the room door open. Looks like nothing's wrong. Mike didn't do anything this time. And then she turns the corner to go into her own bathroom, and boom, there's like a broken back girl from Spirit, or the Walking Dead girl, or something like that. So yeah, trying to give my mom a heart attack. The best was I had gotten home from work, left to go to Illinois Media School because I was still doing broadcasting school at the time. So I only came home for like an hour just to kind of change my clothes and go. And I had that time to build a prop and then leave. And then it's like 7 o'clock and I'm just sitting in class and I get a text, "Are you trying to kill me?" So
Oh, it's
yeah,
great.
yeah. My mom's still alive. That's good. We'll knock on wood because that's I'm not actually trying to kill her. But no, that's awesome. What was the where were you guys located? Was your dad ever putting your house on the list, or he would just kind of go out there and enjoy himself for, and by lists, I mean there was what at the time there was maybe early beginnings of Chicago Haunt Builders, but also the Haunted Illinois list. Were you guys ever listed on any of those?
Oh man, we were never up there with Chicago Haunt Builders for sure. We were definitely more lower level, but we definitely put care into like what we put out and everything. We did what we could. We're out here in Elgin, so we're not too far from many of the other guys who do it over here. Um, and we leave that to them. But for what we had out of everyone else in the neighborhood, we were one of the scarier houses, and I don't know, it was all him just standing out there having fun.
We've got haunt builders at every level, so the more the merrier. Everybody's included. If you guys are still doing it, I'd say join in. Even join the Facebook group. Even so, just contact Jim Slanker. They're a great group of people. They do some great things in the haunt world. But being in Elgin, a lot of great history, a lot of creepy history as well too.
Absolutely.
You talked about then when you got a little older, going to your first haunted houses. Was Evil Intentions one of the first ones then, being so close to you and Elgin?
As a matter of fact, Evil Intentions was the second one. I don't know why. I thought that was going to be the first as well. But my dad came into my room one night. He's like, "Hey, you want to go check out Basement of the Dead?" And we drive out over there, and that was my first real haunted house, which was still very cool.
Yeah,
But even I
little
love
did you
Evil
know you'd be
Intentions.
working for the company.
Right.
I've done that now. I've kind of thought about it. I'm like, a couple of the haunts I've guest acted at. It's surreal because it's like I would buy tickets and then Basement of the Dead specifically, especially when it would be like an off-season event, I'd buy tickets, and then if I couldn't go on the Friday night when I bought tickets for, I'd have to call up and be like, "Hey, I'm so sorry. I actually have to come Saturday instead." And they'd be like, "Oh yeah, no problem, fine." And I'm just thinking, and I'm like, I was on the phone with one of the senators at that point. Like, it's family run. But it's surreal that like, I don't know if they knew it was me. I'm never gonna come out as the culprit, even though I'm putting this on a public platform here. But yeah, it's like, oh yeah, now I'm working with these people and I see the back end of that stuff. But Basement's a great haunt. Have you gotten much time over there during even just the regular season, or are you only there during kind of some of the off-season events?
So far, I've only done off-season events. I've only acted over there once for the Christmas event. But I did have a lot of fun when I was in there. And I agree with you on the whole kind of coming like full circle with coming through because I think I went through Disturbia for a good 4 years before I started acting there for every event pretty much. Because deep haunted house lover, I was going through every haunt every second I could. Um, Never once did I think I'd be working over there, but I'm so happy I'm there now.
That was us too, and I can't imagine that you and I didn't probably cross paths without knowing it at some point because, before I jumped into more of the pro haunt acting. It was my group, and we still do it too, as my group is running out and hitting all the haunts within one season. I think this last year was the first time in a long while where we actually missed a haunt, which we didn't make it out to Massacre. So sorry to my Massacre friends, but I'll see you guys at MHC. Well, I don't know though, because I'm going to be guest acting with you guys at Basement of the Dead for the Friday Night Haunt. Rivets will be in person. That'll be a lot of fun to actually go full rivets. I haven't done that since the actual haunt season, which was grueling for us. So I'm looking to have a better 2026 and get some fun. I mean, it's already been an incredible 2026 with everything that we've had going, as I mentioned. But I want to talk about your haunt character a little bit, Clint. Wh- Where did this name come from? For the audio listeners, give a little description of what you look like. But of course,
Oh
the YouTube
man,
viewers will get a chance to see it as well.
the name Clint. It's such a stupid backstory, and the name didn't even really come from me. It was probably my second week at the haunt, and somebody had came up to me and was like, "Hey, are you Clint?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Oh, somebody told me your name is Clint." So it just kind of stuck. Really,
Oh, wow. Okay, so your
yeah,
character gets named based on just somebody not knowing who you were as
yeah.
you.
It kind of kicked off with like an inside joke between a little group of people, and then everyone started calling it, and it just stuck around.
Interesting. Okay. All right. I like that though. Where are you usually at? I know you guys have your little posse going on between yourself, Cade, and Antonio, but where's your character usually at, and what do you look like to kind of fit the scene?
For me, I hang out in back porch, so I'm a little further away from Cade and Antonio and their posse, the Slaughter Boys.
Yes.
Um,
Yep.
they they all hang out over in Slaughter. I'm a couple rooms over in back porch.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's funny because when I do the cut throughs, whether that's, when I'm at line acting or seeing the behind the scenes and stuff like that, it all seems like right there. But I forget that like one part of you are more towards the front of the haunt in Slaughter, and then the back porch is actually a completely other area. But I mean, you could get from one to the other in like 2 minutes, basically, if you were
Right.
using the cut throughs and stuff like that. So, oh my God, that's awesome. This most recent Easter hunt, were there were eggs all hidden around, right? I think people were coming out with eggs. Are you helping them find the eggs, or are you just kind of letting them fend for themselves when they're walking through?
I was actually completely unaware that there were eggs in the haunt. They didn't put any eggs in my room, so
Ah, interesting. Yeah, I know they've done it at the basement location when they've had it there because I've gone through as a customer and found an egg, which I was so excited about. And then you get out, and what did I get? I think I got, was it a koozie? I was like, heck yeah. Little Disturbia Basement of the Dead merch. But
sweet.
yeah, and then I did see people coming out with eggs, but I don't know where they were hidden. I know St. Patrick's Day haunt, they're finding little coins, which
Yep.
those you're probably still finding throughout the haunt throughout the
I
whole
found
year.
a couple over the weekend, yeah. With that one, I was helping kind of spread them out, and I had them up on the rail in my room and everything, and they would come in and snatch them.
Oh man. Um, but other than the little trinkets that are going on throughout the different seasonal events, what's your kind of go-to techniques in order to get a scare, especially being in that room? What do you have to play around with in back porch, and what do you kind of typically like to do? Because as an inside actor, you're just as important as some of we've had some outside actors on. We've had some inside actors as well. But you guys have the tougher job of you've only really got like 5 seconds at most to make an impression with these customers and to get the scare, to make yourself stand out and be memorable. So what are your techniques when it comes to scaring?
So, right, I'm still kind of learning. I started haunting in September, so I'm still a little new to it, still getting used to it. Still trying to figure out every technique. But right now, a big thing for me is I've enjoyed getting above people. There's a The way my room is, it's like a zigzag, and there's a railing in the middle that cuts off the room in half, pretty much. So when you come in, I'll be up on that rail. I'll be above you. That's been a big one for me lately. I like to get above. If I can get that overhanging advantage on you, I will, and I'll drop down on you.
Nice. Were you in the room that one? I'm trying to remember who it was. There was one weekend, I don't know if it was the Valentine's Day haunt. I think it was the Valentine's Day haunt. We were all sitting in the office at the end of the night, and they pulled the cameras up. and somebody got absolutely rocked in the head by somebody that was on that railing.
Oh my goodness.
Was that you?
Okay.
Was that your boot or something?
That was not me, but I was in the room for all of that.
Oh no. Tell me
So
what
that
happened because I know I might have the video. I might be able to put it in here if the visual watchers on YouTube are
if you
watching
don't,
along.
I could try to hunt it down for you. I know it's somewhere.
Oh
So
no.
that's the guy who hangs out during the season. His name is Rudy. Wonderful actor. I love him to death. Uh he was up on the railing and we had one of our actresses from Doll. We call her Duck. She's great. Another great actress. But I don't even remember what exactly was happening. I think she was trying to slide somewhere or she was just low. And Rudy didn't see her coming down and just boom, kicked right in the head.
Oh, that's like either a broken nose or a concussion waiting to happen. Oh my
Yeah, it
goodness.
was a
Luckily
gnarly
she
hit.
was okay.
Yeah,
So, I think she left the room right then and there, but like was able to not only come back throughout the night, but also, no medical bills, which is always a good thing, right?
right. Yeah, I think she boogied up onto there pretty quickly and then came back after a little bit.
What was tough was it was like right in front of a group of customers too. And like I think they
Right.
even saw it and you could see their reactions in the videos and they were like, "Oh my God, that was real. That wasn't staged." But like, the show must go on. So I mean they did a great job of kind of not fixing the issue because she's still running away going, do I have a broken nose, do I have a concussion kind of thing, but at the same time like they just kind of played it out and they kind of let things still kind of flow, but that was a crazy event. I think that was also when that review guy came through and
Yep.
unless no, that might have been Hillbilly Night. Because I think it was still during part of the season. So, or actually, that incident might have been Hillbilly Night as well.
I
So,
think it was.
yeah. So I might be. I thought it was the Valentine's Day event, but no. Yeah, I think it was
It
end
was
of the
during
actual
season, I
season.
know that.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that might all have been on one night. It wasn't that the incident didn't happen in front of the reviewer, and he still came out, gave Disturbia a glowing review, and that guy goes all over the Midwest. I forget his name, but yeah, he came out and said it was awesome from start to finish, and yeah, I mean it was just what a night. That was also the night that we because that was the night we were pulling the cameras to see
Yep.
David running into a room. I think all he had was a shovel and
He
he
had
was
a
telling,
shovel and
telling
he
people to dig. He wasn't even in full costume. Like if he were to turn around, like he had something draped in front of him, but I think if he were to turn around, you'd see his Disturbia sweater and just the jeans and everything and still played it off, still got the scare.
he ran into front porch wearing that stupid bear mask. And I just remember we were asking what he was saying when we were in the room watching the cameras. He goes in there and he looks at the guy. He's like, "I'm digging your grave." Oh
Oh my
man,
God. Yeah, they were like
those
they were like,
cameras
"What are
have
you
caught
doing?"
some wonderful moments of us.
Is there one that sticks out for you other than those
Absolutely.
two? Which one is it?
One that sticks out for me would definitely be the night my overall strap broke and they dropped to my ankles in front of a group. That was peak. And I have that clip and I love it to death.
Oh my God, you're gonna have to send that to me. We'll throw it
I
in here
absolutely
because
will.
that is phenomenal. Because I mean, that's still a great scare, just not the one you were expecting.
No, it's scary. Luckily, I had pajama pants on under the overalls, but uh yeah, that I think that scared me a little more than them.
Yeah, yeah. I'd make
That
a
was
I'd
a
make a
good one.
dirty joke regarding Clint, but I'll save it because I try to keep it PG-13. But I mean, we could go off the rails. I don't care. This is Voodoo Podcast, but I think people could have put two and two together with what I was about to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, funny stories for sure at the haunt. But you've got a funny story outside of Disturbia as well. Tell me about the time you were in line with Antonio at Hell's Gate and they were putting worms in your mouth.
Oh boy. The night at Hell's Gate when we were eating worms. That was a fun night. That was great. I can't remember what the occasion was. I think we just went through to go through, and one of the actors over there had a lovely box of worms, and he's doing stunts, and you know the weird came out. I don't know, man. It just kind of happened. All of a sudden, he's holding a worm in my face, so I'll eat the worm.
Did you actually like bite down, swallow the worm,
No,
or?
no,
Okay. I was gonna say that's it's a little much, but we just had worms out in front of Disturbia. It was Asia,
yep,
and I'm trying to remember who else had them out there. I don't think it was Olivia. Forgive me.
no.
Somebody else's character was carrying around some worms as well, and I may or may not have put a couple in my mouth. Did not bite down or swallow. Usually, when my group is at Hell's Gate, we're bringing gummy worms. Those are edible, and we're giving them out. But a little different scenario there.
A little bit. I did the worm bit for Valentine's Day. I had my little heart-shaped chocolate box filled with worms, and that got a lot of people with some great reactions.
Delicious. Heck yeah. Oh man. Well, and not just worms. At this one, there were. Are they mealworms? Those little tiny
Yes.
ones, I think too. They had that. I mean, it's a little far from me. I remember one of the first times I went to Disturbia. It was actually we had Emma Von Zombie on the podcast right after because she gave me some beans. It was the St. Patrick's Day haunt, and I'm playing along. I ate the beans, right? And then she comes on the podcast later and goes, "Oh yeah, no, no, you ate crickets." And I go, whoa, 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 whoa. I know what a little lima bean or a little Jack and the Beanstalk bean is, and then it's not that those were beans. She goes, yeah, but mixed in there were dried cricket legs, either with chili powder on them or plain or something like that. And my heart just sank because I didn't expect to eat any crickets. I didn't think I'd ever eat a cricket in my life, and apparently I did. So I honestly though, I could now say that I've done it and it wasn't that bad. It's just a gross thought, you know?
Well, I mean, hey, there's a first time for everything, and I could appreciate that at least they were seasoned. That's pretty nice. It's better than what Asia was doing over the weekend. I know she had the live mealworms, and those ones are completely safe to eat, so she was munching on those all night. Uh,
Uh,
I'll admit I tried one. It's really not the worst. It's great
really?
protein, apparently.
I guess so. Did you throw any on the pizza afterwards?
No, no.
Probably
I had to
terrible pizza
chase it with the
topping.
pizza afterward, but
As an Italian, yeah, terrible pizza topping, right? Like, you've got the sausage, you've got the pepperoni. Love the Senecers. Shout out them for the great weekend we had at Trans World. I owe them a bunch. But I mean they're always so generous. But I will say, if I had any criticism, I know that the pizza place that they were ordering from just closed. I guess Disturbia wasn't enough to keep them in business. That's surprising to me with how much pizza we order. But uh,
absolutely.
they switched over to Domino's. And as an Italian, that was not real sausage. That was not real pepperoni.
Absolutely not. I wouldn't. I don't even know if I would classify that sausage as meat, but I will say after haunting, it was just as good as any other pizza for me.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I can't talk because I did eat 3 or 4 slices. When you're desperate and you're hungry after haunting, I was skating for 4 hours each night. My legs were dead. But you gotta fuel yourself with something. I guess those mealworms probably were the best protein and the better meat substance to eat at that point.
I suppose so. Yeah, I mean, and the food. Hey, the food tastes better when it's free. That's a given.
That's true. Yeah, free food is free food. That is for sure. As far as your character and we know we talked about what you have coming up. Do you have any changes in your character that you're looking to add? Because I know you said you were either thrifting or antiquing, and you're looking to maybe kind of change something with Clint coming up here.
So actually, Clint will have a bit of an alteration after I'm done with what I'm working on right now. This one I'm putting together now is a completely different character, actually, which is going to be a lot of fun to put together. I'm super, I can't explain how excited I am to be. putting that costume together. But Clint will have a full overhaul once this is all finished up.
Nice. Okay. Different character, maybe for a different scene? Or are you looking to get put in a different spot in the haunt, or possibly a
Different
different
scene.
haunt altogether? Because I mean, guest acting is a thing. I know, the Disturbia and Basement crew are very loyal and really only switch between the two, but different scene, it sounds like.
Different scene. I'll probably keep it the same haunt, but if I were to guest act anywhere, this would probably be the costume for it.
Okay.
I'm going for hospital scene. Absolutely. I've been wanting to do one of those for a good while now, and I got the chance to do it. So
I was taken on a lights on tour of Disturbia ahead of everybody that's going to be doing it at MHC. So sorry, everybody, you're a little late to the game. The first time I ever guest acted with you guys back in 2024 by Chains, and then just recently, Tyler actually took us through. Again, and I got a chance to kind of slow down because when Chains took me, it was right before the night. So we were kind of speed running through to make sure that we saw everything. He showed me all the little cut throughs, gave me the lay of the land. Still showed me, what's what. But this time I got to go kind of a little bit slower, and there is so much more detail to that hospital scene when you look up in that room. I mean, there's just layers upon layers that I'm not sure if everybody really gets a chance to savor when they go through as a fan. But I mean, it is just such a well detailed room. There's a lot of really well detailed rooms, but some of them are going to be changing, and I don't think I can give away too many spoilers based on what Disturbia is doing. It sounds like one of those rooms may be ready by the time MHC is running through. I'm not sure if both will. You may have to go back for the actual regular season or the Summer Screams, because I was under the impression that this MHC Lights On tour was going to, well, I guess because it's a Lights On tour, there's no actors and yada yada yada, but I thought, no, they're going to do this in lieu of Summer Screams event. Nope, there's still going to be a Summer Screams event. We don't know the dates for it yet, but so you're going to have the MHC lights on, the Basement of the Dead MHC Friday night full show, then the Summer Screams at Disturbia, all leading into the actual regular haunt season. Which the way the calendar falls this year, I don't think we have a Friday the we have one more Friday the 13th, and it's in November. So I
yep.
think that's going to kind of extend most haunts seasons. And then of course the haunts that are getting to start earlier and earlier in September, which is such a great thing because now you have so much more time to catch a haunt. You got that feeling in the air. Sometimes September is still a little warm if you're a wimp and you don't like the cold, but hopefully it drops down and we get that crisp autumn air in October. But what are you looking forward to most, whether that be the changes in Disturbia or just individual events coming up?
Oh man, I'm really excited to see how the new rooms come out when those get finished up. That's going to be super exciting to see all of that. I'm just ready for the season, man. I'm ready to get back into it every weekend, every night.
Yeah, yeah. We all say that, right? And then the season comes, and you're like, "Oh man, this is the gauntlet. Here we go. We're tired every night. We're going to sleep, if we go to sleep at odd hours, etc." But yeah, exciting nonetheless. Will you get a chance, despite acting, to go out and visit any haunts?
I'm going to try to. I know I had the chance to visit a couple during last season. I checked out Dungeon of Doom because they did their industry night. So that was really nice to do. And then, of course, I took off that one day to go to Hell's Gate. Um, but yeah, I'm saying I miss season now. I'll definitely regret it. I caught myself a couple weeks ago saying I miss Hell Week, and I know I'm lying, but
Yeah, I don't know. Be careful
yeah,
what you wish for there. I was at the Dungeon of Doom industry night as well. I didn't even,
no
well, we
kidding.
didn't, I don't know if we really knew each other all that well at that point, but I got there a little later. I peeked around the corner and saw Nick and Tyler and Kelsey, and Sam was there. Tyler and I may have had an incident in their elevator. I don't know if you got a chance to see that video.
I did
Uh,
see that.
Oh, okay, yes. Yeah, not going in the podcast. Well, I guess I could throw it in here. Screw it. It's up on Instagram, right? That one goes on Haunt Hub. Nobody was injured. The elevator was not broken by us. I heard later on in the season they had issues with their elevator. That was not us. We are not that rough. Tyler might be. I don't know, but me, no. I prefer to be a gentleman at times, but that was a fun night. Getting a chance to see it. Did you get to go through multiple times, or did you just go through the one? I mean, it's a long haunt.
It is a very long haunt. I think it's like an hour walk through. I know we did it. I think we just went through once, and that was a lot of fun. The Buried Alive experience was great. I did see, Sam and Nick and all those guys. So another time we probably crossed paths before we really talked to each other. That's crazy.
That's true.
But yeah, Dungeon of Doom is absolutely great. Shout out to them. They are fantastic at what they do. That was another part of hearing about haunted houses as a kid. I'm gonna sidetrack for a second, sorry. Um, they've been around forever, as most know, and my parents growing up would always tell me about Dungeon of Doom because of the Buried Alive thing, but they never remembered the name because they went on a date back there, like when early on in their relationship. So we'd always hear that growing up, and we're like, we want to go to this place, we want to go to this place. So I finally got to go, and that was a
Wow.
lot of that was a lot of fun.
That's almost full circle moment right there
Right,
because
right,
mom and dad, that's kind of their early date stories and part of the reason you're here today. And yeah, then you finally get to experience it for yourself. I will say, being buried alive, I think, is one of my biggest fears. And I didn't know going in the first time what that experience itself was gonna be like. But then when we did get a chance to do it, first time. I had to like really calm myself down. I think I've told this story on the podcast before, and count back, either put myself to sleep counting or just count to see how long they hold you in there. And my dad's over there like Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory going bazinga because it's a ball pit. And I'm just like, dude, get real for a second. We're gonna die. And then I didn't tell him until after the fact that that's one of my biggest fears. And he was like, "Wow, you're nuts." And I was like, "Well, you made me this way. You're my father." And then I've done it ever since because now it gets. I think I'm contradicting myself because I think I've said before that it doesn't get easier. It does kind of get easier. Like you start to realize, all right, they're only going to keep me in there for 30 seconds to a minute, depending on how quickly they're running the
right.
night. But there's always that thought in the back of my head of, are these guys menaces and are they just going to leave us in here? We did do well, it's part of the actual haunt. It's the very end of the haunt at Nightmare on Edgewood. Rest in peace, because it sounds like Nightmare on
Rest in
Edgewood down in
peace.
Indianapolis is not coming back. But you get through their entire haunt, and the very last piece of their haunt is the buried alive experience. But this one, you're kind of in like a tomb and you're standing up rather than laying down like you do a Dungeon of Doom, and they
Okay.
just fill everything with ball pit balls. So you're still buried alive, but you're vertical, you're upright, but in a way it's almost worse because at dungeon they don't have to fill from floor to ceiling like sometimes
Right.
sometimes they go crazy with it, and I've hit leg day before and I wasn't able to raise my legs in that ball pit. That's how much they weigh you down. But there is still like you could still reach up. No, with this, I mean, there's nowhere to go. Like the whole negative space around you just gets swallowed up by these ball pit balls, and then they release you and you get out of there. But yeah, that was I wasn't expecting it either. I was like, oh, I've been in one of these, but I didn't expect it to hit like that. Next thing you know, ball pit balls are raining down on my head.
That is really cool. I do think personally standing up would probably be more preferred for me because then I don't got to lay on the ground and cover my face. Because those things come down hard. I learned that at Dungeon of Doom. Those balls drop real hard.
Yeah, I like when they get the guys in there and they say, "Gentlemen, protect everything that's valuable," which means I
Yeah.
played soccer growing up, so that means, well, I guess you could do this in hockey too, but typically it's when you're making the wall in soccer and you've got one
Yep.
hand here covering your face
The other
and
one
you've got
down
another
there.
hand covering a different head, and Yeah, you don't want to get kicked in either of those places. And even though they're, what, light, airy ball pit ball, they're still
Oh yeah,
plastic and they're raining down, and gravity is not kind.
no,
So
but yeah, they were definitely being a little more crazy with how much they were filling the room on that industry night because I sat up and man, it I put my arm up and I didn't reach the top, so that room was packed.
I've had it both ways. I've had it where, yes, I've reached up and I can't reach the top either. And then other times where like I think I can just barely hit the top. But yeah, and an industry night, I'm sure that they are really looking to scare a group of haunters that don't typically get scared, right? So
Right.
they pull out all the stops for you. But I was thinking about this the other day, or it might have been even earlier today, but there's such an interesting dynamic between, I don't want to call it the South haunts, but like being in Schaumburg, northwest suburbs here, we're really kind of the cutoff. Everything, there's nothing really in Schaumburg, especially rest in peace, our own haunt, Voodoo on Vassar, and some of our neighbors that don't do it anymore, whether that's Slingerland Slaughterhouse or the house over on Boxwood. We still have some great
Yeah.
displays in the area, but the closest thing to me is 13th floor, which is now over in, I mean, it's technically,
It's like
I
Rosemont.
yeah, I consider it Rosemont. Technically, it's a, is it a, I'm drawing a blank. Not Norwich. What's the actual address over there? Schiller Park. Schiller Park. That's what it is.
Yes.
So technically it's a Schiller Park address, but I mean you're a block away from Rosemont, basically. So that's
Right.
still a 25-minute drive from me, but that's laterally. I guess laterally west, but more of a 45-minute drive is where the new Evil Intentions is. The um, uh, Forsaken Hollow, excuse me.
Yep.
Of course, that means it's not in Elgin anymore in my backyard. So everything else is either north or south of me. And there's I don't know. Every haunt is unique, right? But there's like something about the North haunts, like when you go to Dungeon of Doom and it's long and it's dark and it's grungy and you get a little bit of that with Realm of Terror as well. Even if you go up across the border of Wisconsin to Abandon, there's similarities between those haunts, and it's hard for me to describe them unless you've seen those haunts. But then you go south. And don't get me wrong, it's all Halloween, it's all haunts and stuff like that, so there's still a dark grunginess aspect to them,
Right.
but there's a lot more of like a show to them. The one that would stand out to me that I would say gives more of that north vibe, or just like a south side of Chicago thrown together. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean like you walk in and you're like, am I actually gonna get like a tetanus shot after going through here? Is Midnight Terror. They do a really good
Yes.
job of making things look rusty, look grimy, but everything else is like a grand show. I mean, we talk about Hell's Gate. Hell's Gate is dark Disney, right? It's a spectacle. Um,
Absolutely.
Disturbia is a party haunt. Even Basement of the Dead has a little bit of that party haunt, but also the high production that you'd get out of a Hell's Gate or a Massacre. So, um, talk to me a little bit about what you've seen from these haunts, and maybe what are some of your favorite aspects of some of these.
Man, I love Midnight Terror. I went through for their Christmas event, and I will totally be taking the time to work their Christmas event next season. Hell's Gate obviously is on the list. I love them to death. I've loved Zombie Army since Statesville, you know. That
Yeah.
place
Oh
was
yeah.
killer. I grew up watching Days of the Living Dead, so they're always a 10 in my book, you know. And
No doubt.
then I gotta hand it to Old Joliet. I mean, that was everything, you know. They had the perfect place for a haunt. And
Yeah.
that's just something you don't see out here other than when we had Evil Intentions right in Elgin at the Casket Factory.
No doubt. I mean, yeah, you talk about two haunts that were, when I talk about the similarities and differences from like north and south, just location wise. I mean, you can't beat an actual prison. You can't beat an actual casket company, right? A casket factory.
Never.
Rest in peace, old Joliet. We talked a little bit about this on the live
Yeah.
show, but the news did break. That old Joliet will not be opening this year. It seems like there's a lot going on behind the scenes that I either can't divulge or we still don't know what's going on. But it sounds like the city and the state itself are claiming that property at least for 2026. Now, will they come back in
Yeah.
2027? We don't know. But one thing I wasn't able to mention on the live podcast that we did in March, but at Trans World, because I didn't know the full details yet. There is a baseball game that is happening out of the other side of the prison that is historic because that prison, that side, used to have a baseball field. If you don't know the history of that prison, I implore you to go back and listen to an episode where we had Christine Johnson on. Her and her husband Mike, historians, and Mike was a guard of the prison for a long time. They were both in Project Limestone, produced by Zach Wenzel, one of our other guests on the
Yep.
podcast, and they do a great job of really diving into that history. And one of the things is that being a reformatory prison rather than, what you think of when you think of a prison just, keeping people behind bars is when they'd go out into the actual yard, the warden would get them together to make a baseball team and they'd play baseball out there. Think kind of the longest yard, but instead of football, baseball. And so this will be historic that the Joliet Slammers of the Frontier League are facing off against the Gateway Grizzlies, also in the Frontier League. I would have liked if they would have done like Chicagoland teams, like maybe my Schaumburg Boomers versus the Joliet Slammers or the Windy City Thunderbolts coming over. But it was, it's still going to be historic. It's still going to be Slammers. I think it's still going to be great. It was very, very hard to get in because there's so much national coverage. I am pleased to announce that WRMN, myself, I'm actually going to be the lone representative. This is how tight it is for media access. They were only able to get one of us in. I will be the representative headed to the prison for WRMN and also kind of the Voodoo podcast. Not that I'm going to be covering things as on behalf of this podcast, but we're going to get a chance to talk to Adam Seigan, the warden over at the haunt side of things, not the actual warden, but the haunt side of things. We've had him on the show before, and Christine and Mike Johnson will be at the game as well. I talked to Christine just the other day, so she's going to be there in attendance. That's it's going to be a phenomenal thing, and I'm super excited to connect the haunt world with the sports world because that's kind of my bread and butter on both sides. And hopefully, we'll get a little bit more information about the prison, but also just kind of cover such a cool event. And yeah, I'm really excited about that. That is on April 30th or April 29th, whatever that Thursday is, at the very end of this month. It's going to be a day game because they don't really have lights over there. April 30th is that Thursday. So if you do have, there's still general admission tickets if anybody wants to go out and buy those, but I'm excited. I know that there's some controversy amongst some of our haunters with that side of the prison, and hopefully I will do everybody well and shed light upon all the issues. But man, yeah, you talk about that Joliet prison. What was your favorite part of the prison? Did you get a chance to go through a lot?
I went through twice, and I love that it's a haunt. I love the haunt entirely. The chainsaw maze was great. I think from a haunt perspective, that was my favorite part, just because it was so fun. Um, but what I really loved about that place was just how rich the history was. I'm a total nerd for that stuff, especially I also love ghost hunting, so that's all right up my alley.
No doubt. I'm really hoping that something gets done with that side of the prison. It just doesn't just get torn down because, of course, we either want the haunt back or, something to be there. It's historic and because otherwise, it ends up like the Elgin Casket Company where Evil Intentions no longer resides and it's just an empty casket company right now. So, who knows? But looking forward to seeing what happens with that. But yes, once again, super excited to get a chance to cover that. And I want to give a big thank you to the Deputy Commissioner of the Frontier League, Matt Shepherdson, for getting us in. I don't know if he was going to be watching or listening along to this podcast. Maybe I'll send it to him because he's more of the baseball side, more of the sports side of things. He watches our coverage of that, but he did see a couple of haunt videos. One of the ones when I was sliding underneath Caleb Wimbush's legs when he was juggling fire. And he's like, "What is going on here? And who is that?" And I was like, "Oh, that was me." He's like, "You're sliding under like what?" So I don't know if he knew that there was that side of me because I'm always on the field looking so dapper and so professional. He didn't know that there's a little raging bull inside of here, you know? But who knows? So all right, so we've talked about Clint's future. We've talked about the future going on here in 2026. Uh, talk about the present a little bit. And like I said, we just wrapped up a haunt. Are you recovering? What are you doing kind of in the meantime in between haunts? Other than, I mean, I know you're antiquing and getting costume stuff ready for this new character, but do the haunt wheels still kind of turn? And are you still kind of dialed into other haunt friends? Are you going out with, you know, either whether it's Cade or Antonio or some of your other Disturbia buddies?
Absolutely. I'm always the hot wheels are always turning, man. I just went out God, what day was that? I just went out on Tuesday with Jacob Linko from Hell's Gate. We went
Yeah.
out and got sushi. So I'm always seeing those guys outside of the haunt. Um, I try to stay on top of it, but yeah, other than that, I'm fully recovered from the Easter weekend and just focused on getting this costume done and waiting for summertime. That's all it is.
Lingo went and got sushi without me. I'd yell at you too, but it's okay. I'm all right. But I was busy on Tuesday. I wouldn't have been able to join you guys anyways. But nah, I'll remember that. Listen here, Cog. I'm gonna be yelling. I'm gonna be yelling at you. He's one of our gummy worm eaters when we go to
Yes, he is.
Hell's Gate, and no gummy worms for you now, Jake. Sorry, buddy. It's so funny to watch him eat it though, because it's got to go through the hole and like it just kind of
Needs to
hangs
put
off
it
the
under
beak.
the eye socket.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh. No, that's awesome. Um, this has been amazing. Thank you again for wanting to come on, being a listener. I'm so glad we got a chance to talk. Is there anything I missed of your haunt career that we should probably touch upon? Or are we just kind of looking towards the
Anything
future?
right now, I think we're just looking towards the future. If you don't mind, I'll plug my socials really quickly, and then I think that's all I've got. So on Instagram, you can find me. It's the underscore. Ooh, wait. Yes. Okay. So it's the dot real dot rotgut, ROTGUT, and then same thing for TikTok, but instead of dots, it's underscores.
Yes, definitely go check Clint out or Vance on Instagram at the Real Rot Gut. We'll post those in here for you, buddy. This has been awesome. I think we kind of overlooked. How long have you been haunting now?
I've been haunting since September.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. The way we talked and the way we kind of developed everything, I don't know if I missed that part of you talking about it, but it seems like you have been in the industry for much longer. So, no, that's awesome. That is
I
awesome.
appreciate it.
I mean, yes, in the industry as far as being a fan and watching along the Days of the Living Dead, going to other haunts and such, but acting wise, yeah, you definitely got it down for somebody who's only been well, other than what, have you done it a little bit at the home haunt when your dad was scaring?
We weren't necessarily a home haunt. That was just kind of his thing that he would do, just him alone. I was always out trick or treating at that time, so I never really did it. I think I did like our school put on like a haunted house in like middle school and like seventh grade that I did, and I was the chainsaw guy for that. But other than that, I'd never done any haunted houses.
Wow, okay. And yet here we are with Clint, already pretty much professional at this point. So this has been awesome.
Pretty
Thank you again.
much.
I'm looking forward to getting a chance to work with you again, whether that is at Basement or the Summer Screams event, maybe even, and then of course going into the actual regular season for Disturbia and haunted houses in general. We'll have to
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for having me on here.
we'll have to do sushi before. we go and I don't know, see Hell's Gate, or we'll get Linko filled up on sushi, and then he has to run around as Cog, and see how that one goes.
That
See
sounds
how long it
great.
takes for him to puke.
You let me know. We'll make it happen.
Oh man, Vance, thank you again so much, and we will talk to you soon.
Always, brother. Good to talk to you.
Welcome back to the Voodoo Podcast. I am here in April, at the very end of April, getting ready for a little bit of halfway to Halloween. We're going to tease that here in just a second, but we have a returning guest to the podcast, one that we haven't been able to actually see on the screen. So if you're tuned into the YouTube, you may know already who I'm talking about, but she is pretty much everywhere in every facet of the haunt world. I'm talking about, you may see her roaming around 13th floor as Eek. She also does an amazing job with their wardrobe department, but also within the haunt world, outside of 13th Floor Entertainment Group. She works with Trans World Live, assisting our good friend Chris Sarabski. She helps with social media and our friends like Tyler Furmanik at Nightmare Forge. She helps with social media also with or excuse me, she helps with a little bit of our sponsor, Frankenfuel, and Mike Cassavant. She even has her own discount code for Frankenfuel. And she has her own horror horns with our other friends, Dave and Aubrey Appel at Horror Props. Please welcome back to the Voodoo Podcast, 13th Floor Haunted House's very own Dani Panik.
Hi.
We could
That's
actually see you this time. People were begging me to switch to the video side of things after the early years of the podcast, just so that they could see Dani Panik. That was
yeah,
what it was.
yeah, I'm so sorry about the disappointment. But hey.
It's been super busy this year thus far for you. Last time we spoke, I mean, this was a while back, so you were always running around, but we're just coming off the heels of the East Coast Haunters Convention. This is a newer convention for the haunt world. I believe it's only the second year, right? Is that correct?
uh
So it's just third.
I
It's
have no idea.
somewhat newer.
I'm pretty sure it's the third or the fourth year. John Rich, please don't kill me. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure it's the third. Well, okay, wait. I'm going by the tours I was able to do because that's what I like remember the most out of them because it was first year, it was Penhurst and a bunch of other really hard hitters, and then it was Brighton,
Oh yes, I've heard of that one too.
and then it was this past year. So I think it's the third year.
So
I think
three?
this is
Okay.
the third
Could
year.
could be three.
It
I
could
have
be three
not
because we
attended.
first year as well. I don't know. 3 to 4 years. It's awesome though. It doesn't matter how long it's been around. It feels like it's been around for I don't know. It feels like it's new and it feels like it's old at the same time because you get there and it feels so familiar because it's very much reminiscent to trans. It's like a mini trans world.
Okay.
Coast is like you've been to MHC, so you kind of understand how MHC is very like con-y feeling.
Yeah.
Uh, like things mostly run around like the stage shows and stuff like that. Whereas there's still like a huge there's still a huge presence at the stage show at East Coast, but like the vendors and like the what people bring to the show feels very reminiscent of like if you were to take like a little section of Trans World.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
And we
it's a
were
really
just
good
at
jumping
Transworld as
show
well.
too, I think. I think it's worth if you go to MHC every year, some people might think like, oh, I don't need to go out to East Coast, but you're wrong. You need to go to East Coast. It's so good.
It's been on my bucket list for sure. I know and Caitlin have been both telling me that I have to go. The struggle is it always lines up with like playoffs for hockey and the start of baseball season, but I can't make that excuse because October is literally the reverse. It's playoffs for baseball and the start of hockey season. So no matter what, I'm always going to be busy. But I've heard great things about East Coast. I've talked to a couple different guests previously about their experiences there. Tell me a little bit about this year specifically. What was the tour packed with? And really, what are I mean, you kind of described already the vibes of it being a smaller trans world and different from MHC, but what's something that people are missing out on specifically if they're not there?
Well, obviously the haunt tours. You're not going to be able to see East Coast flavor unless you're on the East Coast. Like we're spoiled, you know, like we both get to go to like all these really cool like Midwestern shows, let alone just like all the shows in Chicago that just like pack heat. Um there's something I have like goosebumps talking about it because I like it so much. There's something so special about the way that shows go on the East Coast. Like and it's different. Like we it's hard to like pinpoint exactly what's different, but like you walk through and it's like we do historical buildings, but like this past year, for example, we got to go to two haunted houses that are in historical buildings. So we got to go to Kim's Crypt Haunted Mill, and then we also got to go to Lincoln Mill Haunted Attraction. And Lincoln Mill is they're both inside of old mill houses, and like I feel like I'm doing them a disservice by explaining what they are because I don't even know what a mill house is. I mean, like I know it's power, right? Like water.
Right.
They got these things. Um and I don't know, man. It's just cool. Like the way that they take like the history of like where they're at and how they incorporate it into their shows. And then like on top of seeing those two shows, we got to see Penhurst for a second time and like I don't know if you ever had an opportunity to go up there and see Eloise up in Michigan. No?
No, I have not. So that was the first year I ever did
Um,
MHC, and I only did the Friday night rather than the Thursday pre-convention. And but the Thursday, everybody came back on the Friday, and it was at Old Juliet. And I heard from everybody that it was like an incredible tour up through Michigan. They did a couple of different haunts, and Eloise was one of them.
yep. Yeah, it was Eloise Erebus and
Yeah,
man,
I'm
it
drawing a blank on the last one too. I know, yeah, it was Erebus and Eloise.
um,
Were they all three? I think all three were Michigan, right?
they were all Michigan. They were so good. It was such a that was such a fun tour. All these tours that Transworld is able to pull off and do, whether it's MHC or Transworld itself or East Coast Haunters Convention, are such awesome opportunities to be able to go and see some of these shows because like truly the only way that I'm able to see them is to be able to work with Chris, and I'm that's probably my favorite part about it all. um
He's all right, I guess. We'll keep him around.
no, Chris is cool. Don't downplay him. I'll meet you in a parking lot. But I don't remember what your initial question was, but people should go to East Coast. That's my
No, yeah, that answers it for sure. Because I mean, that's the thing that I'd probably be most looking forward to is the tours themselves, because it's haunts that we don't necessarily get to see throughout the season, even with my crazy schedule and taking years off here or there from either the home haunt or going around and guest acting. Like those are trips that I wouldn't even really normally be able to take in season. I mean, it's so tough. Just met a couple of folks from, I'll give them a shout out. They do a haunt up in Toronto or outside of Toronto.
Oh yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, we'd love for you to come guest act." And me being the hockey guy and loving Canadian lifestyle, it's like I'd love to. It's just that during the haunt season, I know I'd be going up there to guest act at your haunt. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to take that much time out of the season, but yeah, when it comes to these tours, like you mentioned, even Transworld. Now you did there was a Transworld. Was it the Wednesday before, I believe, or was it the Thursday? Well, no, the Thursday was the party at the City Museum, and then Friday is the actual convention opening up. Were you able to be on the tour for Transworld's haunts this year?
Yes, I was a bus captain for the it was Wednesday, I believe. The
Ah, yeah.
Wednesday
Oh, yeah.
tour. Yeah, we went to Talon Falls. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I
Oh,
almost
yes.
forgot that. Yeah, so we drove out to Talon Falls, which was super duper fun for me personally because I had the opportunity to guest act there in 2021. So I I know I'm friends with like, you know, some people up there, so it was really cool to be able to go and like, you know, cheer them on as like a customer as opposed to being there like scaring with them. It was also really cool to go back and see like how much the property has like evolved. When I went there the first time, it was massive. I got to guest act with Joe Bodkin, Pongo. And when we initially went, it was really fun because they have this whole like children's side of their farm that wasn't open, so we were just able to go to like the petting zoo. It was very fun. It was a very unique, a very special experience. I'll always hold that very dear to my heart. But yeah, so we got to go to Talon Falls. They have like 6 haunted attractions. I might be botching that. I feel like there's more, honestly. And like every single one of them is just like filled with people, built to the nines. In this like, it's in a I can't remember the name of the town, Paducah, or right outside of Paducah, Kentucky. And you have to drive
Okay.
through, I believe it's Cairo. And so on the way there, we went through like an abandoned town, like straight up ghost town. So like talk about setting the mood. It was so cool. Um, but yeah, it was super fun, unique experience. It's one of the first time, it's actually the first time I'd been on like a pre-trans world haunt tour. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, that sounds massive. And yeah, driving through a ghost town, I'd want to just kind of pull the bus over and stay there for a little bit. And
I
uh,
definitely was taking my time looking out the windows instead of sitting on the phone.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, all of the tours, even the tours that we have coming up for MHC, all are very exciting, and we'll get to that a little bit. Also, leading into May, there's a little spoiler. We'll talk to some folks that are going to be hosting at some of those events, whether that is the Thursday pre-convention bus tour, which is coming back, a little bit of an adaptive tour this time because we have a couple of lights on events, and then of course the Friday night, which is unprecedented. I don't know who I was talking to. It might have been the first interview on this episode with Vance that I don't remember there ever being two haunts on the Friday night. Maybe you remember something different, but it's always been one location. So for this year to be Massacre and Basement of the Dead, I mean, they're 5 minutes up the road from each other, but I think that's kind of a unique thing for the Friday night tour as well.
Yeah, definitely. But I think you know, the more the merrier, you know. Massacre is such a hard hitter, and Basement, along with being another really hard hitter, also has so much history to it because it's been around for so long. Um, it's gonna be very cool to be able to see them back to back like that.
With Basement, I mean, you have that perfect location because it's set, below street level, and you have that little, I don't even know, like plaza style that you can, have some fun with out there. And then with Massacre, the location itself, you wouldn't think going into it is like perfect because you're like, I'm in the back of a Burger King parking lot, and this is a warehouse, and there's axe throwing here and stuff like that, which is part of their gig. But then you get in there and you're like, wow, I could see that this is definitely the space that they were looking for. And yeah, they do quite a bit with that over there. It's loud. I always tell people, if you want like this, one of the scariest haunted houses in the Chicagoland area, it's definitely Massacre. It's loud and it's in your face. So it's always a good
Yeah,
show
yeah,
going there.
yeah.
But you'll take some time to do all of this stuff, but it's crazy. I don't know when you sleep because you, like I mentioned, juggle a lot of things. One of those things has been, since we last talked to you, Nightmare Forge with Tyler Furmanik and Angie Olson and that whole entire crew. Tell me a little bit about your role doing social media with them and how you help them and what you guys have coming in store.
Yeah. So basically well, I say they approached me. They didn't approach me. I went to Tyler and I said, "Hey, I want to help you. Let me do your social media for you." And Tyler said, "Okay." And he logged me into their Instagram. So basically from there, Tyler's basically just been explaining to me kind of his goals and his visions, and together creatively we're coming up with a couple of different creative ways to you know, kind of introduce some new products to you along with some new uh I can't say too much because I don't want to get beat up the next time I go to the shop, but just know that what we're doing is going to be cool stuff. I personally, off of the Nightmare Forge record and onto the Dani Panik record, really want to promote Tyler and everything that he invents and does. I don't understand how that guy fits as much knowledge in his brain as he does, with his head being as normal sized as it is. I think that's why he always wears a hat. Honestly, I think there's like overflow. Um, but truly, like what Tyler's doing is changing the game as far as like lighting and innovation and scaring in your shows go. He's essentially breaking down a product to make it easy for techs on the fly. And I think it's just so cool that like instead of outsourcing all of the things that he's doing, he's breaking it all down. He's modeling his own 3D printed light mounts. He's creating his own mechanism to keep everything together and make it smooth. And it's just, if you guys are not following the Nightmare Forge page, you should be following the Nightmare Forge page, because the things that like I feel like I undersell what Tyler's doing just like on the social media aspect, because like I walk in and he'll start talking a mile a minute about the stuff that he does, and I'm like, do it again. What? Like, but if you're looking to amplify your haunted house and your scenic, talking to Tyler or hitting up the Nightmare Forge page is definitely a really good route to go, because he's going to help you. And there's not a more genuine, knowledgeable person out there, I think, not to like knock anybody else out there. I just don't know them on a personal level. And I just know that like what Tyler's doing is very unique to the game.
I don't know if I still have the jurisdiction to make the evaluation, but I took AP classes in high school. I did engineering all 4 years of high school. I even did it a little bit into college. And this man's knowledge blows me away. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, and yeah, sure, I didn't stick with it. I went more the broadcasting route, but like, in order to build Voodoo, I take a lot of those skills. And that's another thing too, is you mentioned the innovation that he does at the pro haunt level, and how easy it is for, like you said, techs to have these light systems that you can change out and have your show working smoothly without any major bumps and stuff like that. Even for home haunters, like, our Chicagoland Chicago haunt builders. I mean, these would be things that you would want to look into for setting your scene. I mean, we've had my co-host Matt Nossid come on here and talk about how lighting is so important, not just at a pro haunt, but at your home haunt. I mean, when somebody's driving up the block, the first thing they're going to see are your lights. Ooh, there's a really cool, decorated house over here. And you're getting close when you can see all the fog lights, or the lights hitting off of the fog and stuff like that. These would be perfect for any yard haunt. I know Tyler has worked with both us here at Voodoo, but also the Nightmare Haunted House in Manuka, Michael Peters. And I mean, he installed a whole light kit for them. And Michael was telling me a little behind the scenes of everything that he worked on with them. And I mean, this man, the dedication, and then also just the generosity to take the time and do that for even us home haunters is so cool. And we wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't a good product. Like, it's like he's got some legit stuff there. I think it was you that actually told me. I think it was the first time you came on. I don't know if it was off recording or on recording. You were like, "Have you heard about this guy Tyler?" And I'm like, "The name sounds familiar." And ever since then, yeah, I've picked his brain for some very important tough things to do. But I know some of what you're maybe talking about with not giving away too much for Nightmare Forges. There's a rebranding I saw that was coming up, and then Tyler was saying that maybe you're staying with the same thing. Can you tell us a little bit more about what's being teased there?
No. No. No, I can't. What I can say though is that Tyler's lights not only are very good for the home haunt, but they're also great for your pro shows. And I think that's one of the things that are so great about that's about his products, but also Tyler in general, is that he looks at everybody with the same respect. It doesn't matter, you say us little guys, you're not little guys, you're just guys. Like we're all just guys, and that's and not to like undersell anybody, but we're all just handsome gentlemen, I guess is a good way to put it. We're all just and I think that's without speaking for him, I think that's a safe way of saying that. It's a good way of how he looks at everybody and respects everybody, and he's just too humble. So thanks for giving me his 5 minutes. Um, uh, but yeah, no, I don't want to talk about the rebranding. I don't want to talk about I don't know. I don't want to talk about anything like I just want to sell Tyler. Uh so you'll if you're not following the Instagram, boo, and you should. But if you are, you'll figure it out and you get to find out with the rest of us. Mike.
Yeah,
I love that your
absolutely.
horns are like also kind of green screen, so like they're going in and
I
out every once in a while.
These are the closest things I have to the Panik horns. If
Oh,
nobody is familiar, there are some Dani Panik horns on horror props, and we can just jump right into that. Actually, Dave and Aubrey Appel of Horror Props. You may know them. We've had them on the podcast before, but they are the Stranger Things house. They have the floating Max. They do a lot more than just that. Let's be real. But they have your own horns. What's it like to have basically a product named after you and did you I mean I'm sure you got a chance to design those with Dave, right?
yeah, so like that's funny. First of all, it feels surreal. It feels like I can't think of the term right now, but like I go back and forth with being like why me, but also thank you so much. Um but like so it started I just wanted a pair of custom horns. I thought that that design would be really cool, so I hit up Dave and I was like, "Hey, um and it's not my first time I hit up Dave. I I'd hit up Dave a couple of times, and like we're friends, we talk all the time. I'd hit up Dave a couple of times and been like, "Hey, like, can we get like this type of horns, or like maybe we should do these types of horns." Um, and with those types of horns, some of them have stuck, and some of those are also still on their thing. But it was, you're just talking to friends and you're suggesting things, so you never really think like, I don't know. I don't like talk to people and think like they should like give me credit for anything or whatever. But I was like, hey, I want a pair of custom horns. I want like, I love pink and yellow. I love the combo. I think the color combination is really fun and striking and still like within the world of Halloween without like being not to say like the same, but like, everybody's got like green or purple or orange or, and I love all those colors together, but sometimes it's just nice to have a little something different. And I love pink. So I wanted to do the pink and yellow. Sorry, I'm like drooling. I wanted to do the pink and yellow really bad, and they were sending me. They're really good when you do customs. They'll send you photos along the way of like basically every step while they're working on them. So they had me like pick out like every color all the way down to the detail, and then they sent me my pair, and they said, "Oh, by the way, we're going to sell them on our website, and we're going to call them the Don't Panic horns." And I was like, "What? What do you mean?" And they're like, "Yeah, dude, like they just wanted to." And again, I don't want to speak for them, but like the way that they phrased it for me was they just wanted to show me that they appreciated me. And I was like, wow, I don't know. It's like you say like, how does it feel? And it's like, I really good, but also like, I'm like, and grateful, I guess is like, the end of it though. Like, I feel like I'm so like emotionally, um, grateful for, I don't know. I'm just happy people like me as much as I like them.
I mean, it works perfectly with the last name and being like Halloween theme, like Don't Panic, right? So, but I mean, the design itself is very cool, and also, I mean, the fact that yeah, they take the time. They're not super small anymore. Like, there's a lot of people ordering horns, and for them to still be one-on-one, personable with the customer. These exact horns that I'm wearing right here, actually, Dave messaged me the one time and was like, "Hey, the ones that you bought." We had like a almost like a recall on magnets, like they weren't as strong as our typical ones. And now
Mhm.
these were the first pair of horns that I had ever gotten. So I didn't know what to compare them to. Obviously, I've used my mask for rivets has the neodymium magnets in it, but I was like, these don't feel like these feel fine, right? And I've never lost them. They stay on pretty well. I take it back. One time I wore them guest acting. I don't know if you ever incorporate any of them to any of your costumes on your eek or anything, but one of them when I did I bumped into something and I bumped into it hard. So I mean these things aren't coming off unless you actually do some damage. And it was I mean you're in a haunt, right? So it's gonna find something else metal and stick to it. So I mean I found it by the end of the night. It's no big deal. But I mean these are quality, and for them to take the time is pretty insane. So have you incorporated the don't panic, or you just kind of keep those for when you're just Dani?
So I have tons of horns. That's like how Dave and I started talking is like I can't remember if it was online or in person, but I cornered him and I was just like, I love your product. I used to when I was younger, I used to take like foam wedges and I would glue them to my hats to make horns. So when I saw people start walking around with horror horns, I was like, those are going to be my new accessory. Those are my new personality. Um, but oh, sorry. So yeah, I have a clown character that I've been playing the past couple of years that I call Icky Louse, louse like lice. And she has Mickey Mouse ears and she's got little horns on her ears, and they are the original Don't Panic horns with the OG color. And like we've kind of gone through, I say we, but it's all Dave and Aubrey. They're the brains. I'm just uh they have continued to upgrade the colors on the horror horns. And not just my pair, they do this with all of the pairs. So as they're like continuing to grow, they're just like continuing to amp themselves up. And the colors that are on the current Don't Panic horns are super duper UV. The other ones are super UV as well, but like man, they're just like it's crazy. Yours probably are super UV as well. I can already tell they're sort of glowy. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
These are the other two pair that I have are they're like the not acrylic, but like the black, and then they like go red towards the top.
Oh,
Very
the
devilish.
Hellfire horns,
No, I want to get those. Those are
or
next on my list.
the original
The
Sin horns. They have like the blood fade.
I wonder if those are original sin actually.
I don't know if they're
And I
original
bought
Sin.
them and
I
didn't
think
even
those ones
know. I
are
just
probably
like the color.
the original Sin
Um,
horns are also very cool.
but then I have a red pair as well, being the Blackhawks fan that I am. I just went classic red. But I set you up on that question because I did know you had him as a character because we swapped back in November at the end of the season, I think. So
Yeah.
that was fun. But I mean, yeah, they're amazing. I'll say I wore the red ones to right around this time last year, an AC/DC concert. And it was just because it was like this is an opportunity to go to an event that isn't necessarily Haunt World that these would still fit, right? So I was
Mhm.
like, yeah, they still go with the outfit that I'm wearing. I had my White Sox hat, red horns, looked pretty good, felt very AC/DC-esque. And don't forget the Iron Man shirt, right? Because all the AC/DC that they used in Iron Man. But I walked in and everybody else was they were buying. I don't know if it was a headband with horns on them or if they were, I think that's what they were, because I don't think they connected to your hat like that. But as soon as I started walking around and seeing these people buying these like, and yes, they lit up, so like you had a little battery in them, but they were buying these like headband horns for AC/DC because it was their power up tour. So it went with the theme. And I didn't even know. I just planned, I planned to wear these things, and I guess I planned correctly. But they're looking at me and they're like, oh, no way, where did you get those ones? And I'm just like, horrorprops.com. Like you're not gonna be able to get them right now here, like unless Dave can listen, nobody in the world could get in and out of Soldier Field parking lots quickly. So even Dave, as much as a superhuman as he is, and Aubrey, that I don't know if they'd be able to deliver them to you at concert, but go to their website, go get them because these people were probably paying like $40 for like a glowy headband thing that they were probably going to throw in some drawer eventually.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, these were way better.
that's crazy. And I always everywhere I go, like I'm not wearing them today because I washed my hair. But whenever I have my hat on, I have my horns on too. And I get complimented so much that this is my purse. This is just like what I have on me. The last time I saw Dave, I was like, I need your cards, dude.
Yeah,
So I keep his
absolutely.
cards on me now because literally I can't walk into like if I'm like shipping out a costume or something, I like walk into the post office, whether it's the person behind the counter or the person behind me, somebody somewhere is saying, and it's always I like your hat, and I'm like, do you like my hat or do you like my horn? And I always do the magic trick where I pull them away, and everybody's like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
it's fun. It's a good. I I've gotten used to talking to people as a result of the horror horns. So if anything, Dave and Aubrey have made me a nicer person. So next time you see them, tell them thanks.
I will have to say though, like there is a lot of networking obviously that goes on in the haunt world, whether that is haunt to haunt or convention to convention. But I took a seminar last MHC, and I brag about it all the time because it was one of the best seminars I've ever taken, and it was how to navigate and manipulate social media algorithms, and it was taught by Dave and Aubrey. And I know you work closely with them. Being in media myself, these were skills that I hadn't even really formally learned going through any type of, classes leading up to broadcasting, but it was a lot of things that either should come inherently but don't.
Mhm.
And I had to pay more attention to, and it's kind of redefined a lot of what I post. Not a lot of it is for the sports world side of things, so I have to adapt it a little bit differently from how Dave and Aubrey use it. But you yourself have amassed a great following and a great social media presence as well. What are some tips and tricks that you've relied upon to kind of increase not only yours personally, but we mentioned you do the Nightmare Forge stuff as well.
So something, and it's weird because like, and I'm sure you struggle with this as well. Like as a maker, and I even posted a reel about it. As a maker, it's hard to make sometimes. So as much as I preach this, it's really hard to stick with. So anybody who has the discipline to stick with consistency, um, that's honestly, in my opinion, I think that's one of the biggest ones that I personally rely on. Um, I think one of the things that I do, just like in my personal life, is I surround myself with people who are way smarter than me. So like Dave and Aubrey are a really good example of that, just along with Tyler. Whereas, I get a lot of especially recently, Dave and I have been having a lot of conversations about social media and how to be successful. Mostly to get like traction for the Nightmare Forge page. But I think like if you were to break it down to one thing, it's definitely consistency. And again, it's something I'm struggling with. Whether it's because I don't have stuff to post because I forget to take it in the moment, and like I do so much that like I like adding another thing to it. It's like, wait, let me set up my camera. It's like, no, let's just get it done, you know?
It
um,
is, that's true. I mean, with like I said, I have to adapt it on the sports side of things. And when you're getting an interview, or you're going to an event, right? And you're getting multiple players or coaches or something like that, you want to just throw it all out there because it's exciting, it's relevant, it's timely. But then you're like, all right, well, not everything is going to get viewed if I just throw it up on, literally upchuck it on Instagram or Facebook or even I guess Twitter's the bigger one for sports, and I need to be better on there. But it's like, all right, this is kind of it's annoying. I only get Blackhawks and White Sox updates on Twitter, and that's my news basically. But uh, yeah, when
there's
it comes to posting, I like to spread things out, especially. For instance, you go to a Chicago Fire soccer game, and you get to, as press, you get to talk to the coach after the game, Greg Berhalter, who was former U.S. National team coach, and then typically it's 2 to 3 players. And it's like, well, I can't post 4 different interviews. And if I myself am asking multiple questions, now that's a really long post, right? So, attention spans and making things shorter is one of the things that Dave and Aubrey talked about. And, it kills creativity to an extent, but at the same time, like you have to be able to be concise. So, I'll spread it out throughout the week, but then they have a week like this week where they have 3 different games, which typically isn't the case in soccer. You're only playing once a week. So, it's like, all right, well, I have an interview that I haven't dropped from last Saturday, but they played last night and there was a different result. So, how do I change that up with posting Haunt World stuff though, like you said, it's a lot tougher because you don't just get to sit in a room, hold a microphone, and ask a question, right? And even that, even with the podcast, like I think people who listen have probably seen the social media page for the food podcast and seen that I haven't posted any kind of highlight reels since probably like last year. So clipping stuff can be tedious to go back, especially if you're recording, then you're editing, then you're posting just up on the podcast platforms to then go back and clip what was the best parts, right? And I know there's AI tools that I could use. I'm just lazy. But yeah, when it comes to actually having to build the stuff, like whether it's Tyler with his lights or the horror props with their horns, yeah, and you're always working, which leads me to a very important event coming up. the Halfway to Halloween event is happening at 13th floor this year. Is this the first time that it's happening at 13th floor? And what can you tell us about what's coming up this weekend?
No, so it is not the first time. Don't say this weekend. It's not this weekend.
Oh,
Don't scare
wait,
me
yeah,
like
no,
that.
is
It's
it
at the
it's
end of the month.
what's at the end of
May
May?
29th and May 30th. Friday, Saturday, 2 nights only. We're doing Blackout at Schiller Park, Chicago. Schiller Park, Chicago, 13th floor, Chicago, Schiller Park.
Yeah.
You can expect to be actually, you want a little sneak peek? Do you want to see what it's going to be like?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, this is only for the viewers.
Ooh. Oh, wow. That's
That's
crazy.
so you're gonna see some of this, and then
That
hold on.
looks so good.
Let me scooch my laptop over, and then this is another really cool thing that we're working on over here.
That is amazing.
And then if we just bring it back over here, sorry, let me just. Oh,
Wow.
ready? And
You
then
guys did
this
all
is my pride
that?
and joy right now. Yeah, we're doing all of this. I hope corporate doesn't get mad at me for that. I hope. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's all
That'll
good.
get clipped. That's perfect clip material right there.
If you ever get down, but I um yeah, we I don't remember what your question was. I got too far into it. We have done it here before. We've done it. We did it. We did it at the prison for many, many years. But now we're bringing it back, and we're super excited. What we like to do here is we like to change it up a bit. So like the path might not necessarily be the same. You might not necessarily be able to walk the same direction that you normally walk. You get glow sticks. It's gonna be dark, it's gonna be spooky, and
Yeah.
there's gonna be a lot of cool things to do in the dark.
I think you and I talked the first time you came on about how the blackout events would go at the old location,
Mhm.
which was Melrose Park.
Mhm.
And you guys would open like all the doors. And my one drawback with that was if you were in a group with somebody who wasn't in your initial group, so it was a buddy of mine and I, he did voodoo with us. We got paired with these two girls who were super chicken and we didn't strategize and decide who was the responsible one with the glow stick. It was them, and they immediately bolted the first time somebody jumped out at them. So we were walking through, and the fact that it was completely like an open concept, like all the doors and routes were open, and it was one giant kind of, I call it labyrinth, but
Mhm.
my buddy
That's an
Mark and I,
accurate
after,
description.
I think we were, and you guys would funnel people out of the exit. So I think he and I were in there for an hour and a half, maybe almost 2 hours. And we're like, where's the exit? We were in the room with the exit so many times, but we were in there with other people that weren't supposed to leave yet. So like they wouldn't let us leave. And so, I mean, it was nuts. He and I were like, what is the point of this? Like, and it wasn't that it wasn't fun at a certain point. It was just kind of like annoying. I was like, how do we get out of here? Like, but your eyes adjust to the dark eventually. But yeah,
Yeah,
no glow stick throughout that entire thing was crazy. I've done a
yeah,
couple of your blackout events at the new location solo, which was also a fun experience because I have the power of the glow stick. I get to control where it goes. But also, you're walking into pitch black darkness alone, so there's that scare factor there. So I'm super
yeah,
excited to see this. I thought I didn't have it in my calendar, which is why I said this weekend. But I did plan ahead. It is in my calendar for the end of the month. I had my weekends mixed up. But yeah, May 29th and 30th, right? Just the Friday, Saturday.
yep. Just Friday, Saturday.
Sweet,
Super
sweet.
duper exciting.
Yeah, that should be fun. Yeah, I'm excited to see how this goes for you guys. And
Oh, you're
well, I
not gonna
guess
see much,
I
but
yeah,
it's
I
gonna be
as soon
fun.
as I used that verb, I was like, well, you're not going to see. But you guys always do two different themes to that 13th floor show. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're working on going into season that we will see when the lights are on?
No.
Oh.
No, I can't. What I can tell you is that we are doing um, a semi big build this year. So we'll be knocking
Okay.
down some rooms and putting up some new rooms. And we've got some new people on our team that we're pretty excited to introduce. So you might be seeing some new stuff with some new flair that you may or may not have seen somewhere before. And that's all I'm going to say. And you can take it and leave it to interpretation. It's probably
Okay.
wrong, but you can interpret whatever you want.
All right. Well, the last thing that we really haven't touched upon that you have your Dani Panik staple on basically is the sponsor of this podcast as well. I'll have to crack one open here. It's Frankenfuel. And
Yay!
we usually have a link that we will post /Voodoo podcast, but we could also post the /Dani Panik, right? And what is your specific link exactly?
It's Dani Panik, Panik.
Okay.
I believe that gets you money off your order. It
Yeah.
also gets you money off your subscription orders.
Mm.
So if you order to subscribe and you're worried about not getting a discount, it'll discount you every time and it'll automatically apply my discount. And as you know, anytime somebody uses that discount, you get money directly into your pocket. So
It's nice.
Feed me
Yes.
through Frankenfuel dollars so I can continue to get my coffee.
Exactly. Yeah, I
I
mean,
cannot wake up this early and do Frankenfuels.
I usually don't. Although a little behind the scenes, you and I were going to record at 11 p.m. the other night, and I'm just kind of sitting there going, do I drink one? Am I going to be up all night? But with the day that I'm about to have, and maybe I'll touch upon that in a second here, I'm going to need one. So I'm okay to start early right here. But yeah, usually I'm not a coffee guy myself, so mornings are just not my thing, and I'm not also like an energy drink guy until Mike came along with Frankenfuel, and I'm not saying I drink these all the time, just when they're needed. But I mean, I actually crave, like I try to not have it become an addiction, right? You know, like
Mhm.
especially caffeine. Like I'm usually doing pre-workout for the gym, but when it comes to
Yeah, I don't know
Frankenfuels,
how
it's
you
like, oh, today I get to drink a Frankenfuel, basically. So if you could drink them every day, if you can go ahead and get that subscription and get your monthly stuff, definitely use the codes and definitely go ahead and do that, and you'll be set for life, basically. But
Yeah.
we'll get into the Zombie Zap segment presented by Frankenfuel. That leads me to my next question, which is, what are you energized by when you're running around doing these million different things? I mean, we know it's Frankenfuel, but we'll go more so on either the food side. You mentioned coffee as well. What's your go-to coffee order?
So I always get a cold brew from Starbucks. And I just like kind of go through like the seasonal like cold foam. So like right now I drink a cold brew with lavender cold foam. Before that I was doing the banana cold foam. Obviously during season it's the pumpkin cream cold foam. Um And I don't know. I feel like outside of first of all, there's this really good dumpling place over by Schiller called Schiller Park China Kitchen. And they have really, really, really good like pot stickers. I like pot stickers. I'm a dumpling girl. But they're like $7. And like the whatever the dipping sauce is good enough to take a shot of, man. It's very good. Um I feel like I'm also just fueled by like the ability to be able to do what I do every day. Like I wake up like excited to go to work because I just wake up and I go and like I feel like I say like I wake up and I go to a haunted house and everybody has like this like perception of like me being like I just get to like go and be spooky all day. It's just like working in a warehouse and like taking out the trash and like cleaning stuff and like knocking stuff down and putting it back up. It is a job, but I'm really lucky to be able to say that this job is the job that I do every day. Just like how I'm sure you feel like you're very blessed to be able to be a broadcaster. I don't even know if that's your official title. I'm sorry if that's wrong.
No, for the most part. I mean, I don't even know what my official title is half the time because it's like radio show host, assistant sports director, but also I'm kind of like the beat reporter, but
You're like
also,
Mike on the scene.
yeah,
You're like
like
everywhere.
people are like, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I want to go into
Everything.
play-by-play broadcasting, but like I really only do that throughout winter when I'm doing hockey, and then summer I'm just kind of like on the sidelines, I guess. But I'm not like a sideline reporter for a team yet. So it's like, yeah, what would you classify me as? I'm everywhere. That's what I like to say. So and yeah, there are mornings where it's like all right, the White Sox game is at 1. If we want interviews, we got to be there at 9 a.m. And everybody's like, well, 4 hours before the game. It's like, yeah, and I got to roll out of bed. And sometimes I'm groggy, but then I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of people that don't get to do this and don't get to go. I mean, it's like, a lot of people's dream to be able to ask those questions or get into their favorite sports team. So it's like, yeah, I got to do that. But it's the same with haunting, right? Like we get to say that I remember the first time I was ever guest acting at a professional hunt, which was I think 2024. And like it was such an honor. I mean, no matter where I was going, I mean, every single place that I attended that year, whether it was 13th floor, Old Juliet, Hell's Gate, Disturbia, I don't know if I did basement until that winter, but that whole haunt season, I was like, yeah, like this is pretty cool. We get paid to do this. This is awesome. So yeah, I definitely feel you on that. And those tedious tasks, it makes it all worth it when you get to see the final show come together.
Yeah.
Doing the work behind the scenes and such. I mean, that is awesome. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I always try to say that I do the hard stuff, so the fun stuff everybody can do.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good way to put it. Yeah, that's you're like the 13th floor mom.
Uh,
You're not age wise, but like you're the maternal figure that's taking care of everybody.
no, I'm not. Don't say it like that. I take care of things in the building. Maternal figure. I'm like the chain smoking aunt.
There we go. That's fine too, as long as the job gets done. You're the one who comes over at the holidays, the chain smoking aunt that you're like going and doing the dishes before people are even done with dinner, right? And then you're going
Yeah,
out
I'm
to have
doing the
another
dishes.
cigarette.
I'm fixing your car. Choking on my coffee and my
Um,
18 cigarettes. No, I'm kidding.
no.
No, but I mean, I do whatever my bosses ask me to do, and then some more, and I have a really good time doing it, and I have a really awesome team that helps me out, um, that I get to collaborate with on a daily basis, and it's cool. It's cool. I'm really lucky.
Well, going off of the fact that it's a full-on job, some people don't realize that the haunt world extends outside of the holiday that is Halloween, and 13th floor is a great example of that. Not only with the halfway to Halloween event that's coming up that we talked about, but also you guys are, I want to say just coming off of, but there have been a couple of conventions in between, and it feels like we are a little bit removed. But you do a Love Bites event, and then of course the Krampus event, which I think is such a big hit at 13th floor. It's one of your staples basically. But we talked, I think last time we were going to have you and Andy on both at the same time, but Andy over at Midnight Terror is doing a lot of off-season events, at least with the Christmas side with Midnight Terror as well. I know you've gotten a chance to work at MT for that
Mhm.
event, but sometimes they line up on the same weekend.
Yeah.
How is it that you not only are able to do things with the boyfriend, with the husband, but also be able to run everything and do all these off-season events with 13th floor.
Um, I so like I don't know. I mean, like it's all about like work-life balance, you know? I think Andy and I have a really good understanding of like separating work from being at home. And that we do a lot of collaborating while we are at home because we make costumes and stuff together and he makes masks. Um, but like I don't know. I think it's all about like mutual respect and honestly like I feel like Andy's like my biggest champion. Like anytime I do anything or like, anytime I do anything, there's never ever been an issue of like, oh, well, like how is this going to impact us? It's just like, oh fuck yeah, like we're just excited for each other and it goes both ways. Like if Andy like succeeds at something or gets an opportunity, like I'm just as excited. Um and I think that's just what it breaks down to. Like we're not like competing against one another. We're just like trying to make sure we both come in first, you know?
Has he gotten a chance to guest act at 13th, I'm sure? Yeah, right at this point.
Yeah, he came and guest acted for one of our Love Bites events. He came as a vampire. Uh,
Nice.
Obviously very fitting. Um, but mostly he just comes and walks through. I think he enjoys being a customer just as much as he enjoys being a creature.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. That's a perfect Valentine's Day then, and getting to work with the boyfriend.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes he'll come through for Valentine's Day. Sometimes he'll act for Valentine's Day. I never really know until like the weekend of, which is always really exciting. Um, he's sweet like that. He likes to surprise me. I like surprises, so.
Well, this leads me into my voodoo personalities segment. And I know Andy has the long Italian last name, Martingello, but you seem to be the one baking the pastries in the household. What is this bread girl movement that is going on, sweeping the nation? I saw you making some sourdough. Are you opening up your own bakery over here? The Panik Bakery? I don't know what would you name it?
I don't know, and it's funny because I've actually thought about it, and I feel like any like horror related word when it comes to like baking stuff is like scary. But like in a bad way. Like I thought about like dreadful baked or dreadfully baked would be fun, but like I don't
Yeah.
know. Is it appetizing? I don't know.
You
Um,
tell me, has any of them have they come out good?
my bread?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I got you. Okay, so actually, at MHC, I'm planning on making a couple of loaves to bring about. I don't know if I'm gonna carry them around on Saturday or if I'm gonna carry them around on Sunday, but I think I'm gonna try and plan to bring some bread around for the day after everybody's drunk. So the party's Saturday. I'll give everybody bread the day before. But I don't know, man. I was influenced by the internet, and there's this one chick. Her bread's name is Eloise, and I can't think of her IG tag is
Oh,
okay cool Gigi.
yeah,
She's
yeah, yeah.
this little Italian girl from the Bronx. She's fucking I don't even know if she's from the Bronx or Manhattan, but I love her. She's so sweet. She's so spicy. Um, but like she's so chaotic and crazy that I was like, if this girl can make sourdough and keep a culture alive, maybe I can. And I keep plants. Like I have like a bunch of like philodendrons and like some rarer types of plants like just at my house. So I figured like why not? So in November I just started a sourdough starter, just thinking like maybe it'll die, maybe it'll go. And I baked my first loaf of bread in January and it was a disaster. I baked like 8 loaves of bread before finally I like understood what it was. And now I do bake pretty fucking fire bread, honestly. Like I don't mean to brag, but I've brought loaves to Aubrey and Dave. I've brought loaves to Alex Wode. Alex Wode's Mrs. Sharkey herself loves my bread so much that I get weekly orders. Not like weekly, but like she'll order a chocolate chip loaf every once in a while. Um I don't know if I don't want to start. I don't know. I feel like baking is like gonna be my new like creative outlet because like for the longest time my creative outlet was like making costumes and stuff, but now it's more so business. So not to say that it's not a creative outlet, but like now like when I'm frustrated, I can just go like bust out like some loaves of bread. Um like I've made like loaves for like build teams that have come in. I made like 6 loaves for them, all different flavors. I don't know. It's fun. You want some? Do you like sourdough?
Sure. Yeah, I'll
Cool.
try it. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
As long as it's not hot sauce infused like you did to me last summer. No. I will probably take part in the hot sauce challenge again this year because I'm insane. But
Well,
yeah, Danny's a little mischievous, I'll just say, when she's pouring the hot sauces back there for
I
that
think I
hot sauce
might
challenge.
only be Vanna White this year. So you
Oh,
might
okay.
be
All
in the
right.
clear.
All right,
Um,
good, good.
but if it makes you feel any better, I have done, I don't know if you saw my interview over on Haunters Eating Hot Chicken or my ticket spice challenge that I did at Trans World, but my stomach has been rocked a couple of times since. So if that is any consolation to you at all, I
I think you
ate a
told me about the one.
9 million Scoville gummy bear, and then I
Oh,
ate the hottest chicken from a place called the Brave Idiot.
wow.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Fitting.
Yeah, it was horrible. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was extremely
because
fitting.
any one of us that does something like that, we're brave, but
Hmm.
we're not so smart, you know?
Yeah,
That
it was
was
actually it's
interesting.
so Brave Idiot is in 10 Nashville. They're a food truck and you get discounts, I think, if you show photos of your cat. Um,
Oh,
yeah,
nice. That's
yeah,
sweet.
it was very sweet.
Um,
It was not
I
later, but it was. And honestly, like the food there was really good. Like we got like actual food as well and fire hot chicken.
I was down in Nashville once, and the hot chicken is everything that it lives up to be. I am a spice guy, as per usual, but yeah, when you get up to those higher Scoville levels, especially like it's a texture thing too to me. So like a gummy bear, like I can't like I'd go in thinking that it's like sweet, like an actual gummy bear, and I don't know if I'd like that being spicy. Same thing with the popcorn that we do at MHC. Chris, if you're hearing this again, once again, we got to switch it out with something because that was terrible. Half of the battle wasn't even the actual heat of it; it was the texture. So I don't know. Maybe if you did bring in bread and we
What
put
is
the
your
hot sauce on the bread.
suggestion? Bread? You want to do it on bread? You want to eat soggy bread instead of soggy popcorn?
I feel like though your sourdough would have a little bit more structural integrity than popcorn though, you know? Like I feel like either that or I know some people do cauliflower. I know we're not going to go switch and do chicken just because, it's a little bit tougher to get that in that environment. And then also not everybody eats chicken. But I know some people do cauliflower as like an alternative. Um, but
Okay.
yeah, popcorn is just tough, man. It's like eating baby food after a while. But I'll tell Vanna White this, and if anything happens, yeah, who knows? Who knows?
My job is
Um,
to stand there and look pretty.
you
No, but
mentioned Alex. We talked about her boyfriend Tyler, and she's ordering weekly bread from you, but now you need a discount code not just for Frankenfuel, but to get your Starbucks orders. So, Alex, come on, what are we doing? We're not even Danny's best friend because Mike Cassavant is giving her a code for Frankenfuel. We
how
could get a
does
code easily for
Alex
the
get a
pumpkin spice
discount code
brews,
for
right?
Starbucks? Think about that for a minute. uh, Alex is really sweet though, and almost every time I see her, she does bring me coffee. So
That's
um,
good.
yeah, yeah. No, Alex is a real one, a good friend.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, you mentioned your cat. I know you lost one earlier on in the year. Did you have two?
Yeah, I had two. I had Moo
Yeah.
and Bogger, and now
How's
Moo is an angel.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
How's the other one handling being the
Oh, he's
solo cat?
fine. I
Okay.
mean, like, not to say like, oh, he's fine. Like, I mean, like when it initially happened, like he was um obviously like not I don't know how to explain it, but you could tell he knew.
Yeah.
And it all like happened at home, so like he kind of got like closure as well. But he is enjoying being the only boy, I think. He's very clingy. I don't know if you've seen my Snapchats, but he like hangs out like on my shoulders all the time. He does it with Andy now too. Um he's a good boy. He's just been chilling. He's very cuddly. He's loving life.
I
Um
think last time I had you on, obviously it wasn't a video episode, but you and I were over Zoom, and I think he was hanging out in the background,
yeah,
climbing all
yeah.
over the couch.
He
Yeah.
both anytime I was on the computer, they both would be like hello and they would like say hi. I have one of the last pictures I have of like the two of them together. I was on a meeting, like a Zoom meeting for work, and they took a screenshot and I was holding Moo and Bogger was on my shoulders. So yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Just the kid. I know there's,
This is
is
the
there a
first time
dog?
we talked about that actually. I sent like the Snapchat to like my streaks, but I haven't really like announced that. So
Oh,
breaking news.
yeah, yeah. I know. I was like, oh, because like I said, we were going to be doing this back in February. I'm like, oh, this is a rough time to be doing this, and I didn't want to bring it up because it's
Yeah.
always a tough spot. But there's always speaking of streaks, there's pictures of dogs that I get sent from you. That's not your dog, is it?
The really small one. Is that what you're
I
thinking about? Sometimes
believe so.
okay.
I
I
think
don't
there's a
know.
big one too, right?
Yeah, there's the walrus and then there's a very, very small dog. So the walrus is Frankie. That's my friend and manager's dog. It's Erica's dog, Frankie.
Okay, okay.
And then he's a basset hound and he like you've seen him. He's a
Oh yeah.
tiny elephant. And then the big dog or the little dog is my mom's dog, and his name is Biggs. He's a toy applehead Chihuahua. He was born with like his skull wasn't fully developed, so like a portion of his brain stuck out right here. My
Oh.
mom found him. My mom is the animal whisperer. She's so like the way that she finds animals is so weird. Every single one that she's ever had is a rescue. and they all have a weird story. Biggs' story specifically was she was standing in line at a gas station, and there was a woman standing in front of her. She was waiting to pay for gas. There's a woman standing in front of her holding like a cat carrier. So my mom was like, "Hey, what's in the carrier?" Because cat carrier. And this woman turns around and is like, "My dog," and she's like holding like the mom. She's like had puppies, and she's like, "I don't have money for these dogs. Like, do you want a puppy?" So like my mom like just looked at them and like saw Biggs and saw that he had a lump on his head, and she was like, "What's wrong with that one?" And the lady literally was like, "I do not know." So my mom was like, "Okay," and took Biggs, and then we brought him to the vet, and the vet was basically just like, "Yeah, be careful." And he's like 9. And
Oh.
he's like, I kid you not, this is a Trenta Cup. He's not as tall as this Trenta Cup. He comes up to about here, like foot to head. He's so sweet, and he's about as long. Um,
Go in for gas and leave with the dog, basically.
yeah, and that's Mary. That is literally Mary. She like came back. She's like, "Yeah, I brought home a dog." It was when I was still living with her. I was like, "What do you mean you brought home a dog?" We had already had 3 at that point, so having a 4th one. And then she came out with this little thing. I was like, all right, I guess that doesn't technically count as a 4th dog because it really is small. Like, I don't mean to insult tiny dogs, but like if you look at your cell phone and you think that that's a living, breathing thing, that's about as big as that dog.
That's a hamster at that point.
I don't think a landlord would consider it a secondary thing. Anyway, um, yeah, he could live
That's
in a cage and be totally happy.
that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, that's a little bit about your personality. We won't dive too far into your haunt career because we did a whole lot of that in the first episode. So anybody who hasn't heard the first time Dani was on, you can't see it because it's like the blackout event. There was no video at that time, so you go back and listen to it. I encourage you and I implore you to go back and hear about Dani's start with 11th Hour, which turned into 13th Floor, and so on and so forth. And if you're sitting here wondering why I am burying the lead on the other major thing that we have yet to talk about, the other elephant in the room, it's because we can't talk about it. So I'm going to do the Dani panic and just say no. It's
No.
yeah, it's I plead the fifth. So if you're looking for any information on the old Joliet haunted prison, there will be more news later down the line, but we can't give you anything yet here. I will tell you that I am going to the baseball game literally today that is happening there. The Joliet Slammers taking on the Gateway Grizzlies in the preseason matchup that is happening on the other side. So maybe I'll ruffle some feathers and poke a couple bears and get some answers, but that's of my own accord. That's of Mike Napolitano, not even this Voodoo podcast. It's actually more so WRMN. So sorry, WRMN, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm also just there for the baseball too. It's going to be a crazy event, and we'll see. What happens of that. But that's all we can say about that. So that pretty much covers, I think, everything. I mean, it's never going to cover everything because we still have to hear and see all of the great things that Dani's working on, that she pled the fifth on, and that involves you guys going out to see the Halfway to Halloween event at the end of May, the 29th and 30th, the Friday and Saturday, and then also checking out MHC. Other than that, do you have anything on the horizon that you're excited about that you want to let the viewers know?
Yes, not stuff I can talk about right now. But I will be announcing some pretty cool stuff and some pretty fun opportunities over on my Instagram later, maybe this week or next week. Um, and yeah, come see me at the 13th floor haunted house May 29th and 30th for our blackout event. Um, I might be outside, I might be in the dark waiting for you, but there's only one way to find out, and it's to be there. So, what day are you coming, Mike? Friday or Saturday?
Uh, Let me double check. Now that I do see it in my schedule, I think I will be there Saturday.
Cool.
Friday nights, that is the Chicago Snowballs and our friend Caleb Wimbush participating in that. And they're right up the block from me here at Wintrust Field. They're also there that Saturday, but they're there during the day. And I might be at White Sox during the day, but then I'm completely free. There's nothing else on my schedule in the evening. So
Oh yeah,
maybe I'll drag Caleb one of those times too when he's done with his games and such. So.
that'd be cool. I don't think he's been to 13th yet, so that'd be fun.
He did go 1 year, was it 2 years ago or whatever? Because he snapped me from your guys' little
Or midway
um
or indoor line.
indoor. Yeah, yeah, right there. So, oh, that's another thing that leads me to before we jump out of here. The facade that you guys have created within the last time we talked to you this past year on the outside of the building. It was very carnival-esque because that was the theme.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, you're probably going to plead the fifth on this too. Do we have any changes of the facade coming up here? Are we keeping it? Are we doing something a little different, or is it? I mean,
Well,
it
no,
looks
I mean the
beautiful.
circus is here to stay. The main event is the haunt inside. I'm like rapidly looking for a computer charger because my computer's about to die. But
Oh,
but I don't think anything is going to happen to it other than it is going to continue to get better.
okay.
So we might see some additional things to it. You might see some additional things outside of it. But again, the only way to see is to come and see. So,
Right.
or
And then
follow
not
me
see.
along on Instagram, and maybe you can deduct what we're doing by my videos. Um,
Mm, there you
you
go.
should just come and see because I work really hard and I would appreciate the praise.
Absolutely. Yeah. You'll see and then you won't see at the halfway to Halloween Blackout event. As we mentioned, get your tickets, get on over there. And yeah, I'm super excited for that, for MHC. We'll post all of your socials in here as well. But for the just the audio listeners, what are those so that they can hear them?
So my personal Instagram is at Dani Panik, Dani Dani Panic Panik, one word. You can follow the Nightmare Forge on Instagram over at the Nightmare Forge. Also follow Frankenfuel, follow Horror Props Dave, follow Sinister Slide Gear, which is something that we did not talk about. I am a sponsored slider for Sinister Slide Gear.
Nice.
Um, so there are no discount codes or anything, but you can look forward to some Panic specific merchandise or the like coming out soon. So in correlation with Sinister Slide Gear. So yeah, I think that's everything. I hope that's everything. Obviously, always 13-4 Chicago. That's where you can find me. That's where I'll always rep. Um, and then me. If you want a costume or whatever, hit me up.
Sweet, sweet. Yeah, somebody I was talking to. Oh, I know who it is, and I don't know if I can give it away. Yeah, I can. Who cares? It's Eric. Eric was talking about how he's like, I think you're doing one for Munson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just
So
talked about it.
yeah. So if anybody knows his character, we've had him on the podcast as well. Giggles. He's getting some new threads this year, courtesy of Dani. So we know it's going to
Yep.
come out good. I can't wait to see it, but
Yep.
I
And a
can't wait
mask
to.
by Andy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Ah,
we're doing a little collab.
look at that. Look at the little haunt parents right there. I won't call you mom again, but yeah, you're a lot more than just the chain smoking aunt that with everything that you're doing. So
Oh, geez.
that's
Well, thank
awesome.
you.
So well, thank you again for hopping on. It's so good to talk to you again. And then
Yeah, dude, thank you.
we will see you, of course, at all of the upcoming summer events leading into the season and beyond. Super excited to get a chance to take part in everything that you have going on. And yeah, like she said, go on over there, follow her and everything, and help the cause and help yourself to whatever, whether it's Frankenfuel or some horror horrors. So yeah. So Dani, thank you again, and we will talk to you soon.
Thanks, Mike. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.